Okay. First order of business is to figure out how we can sync up the audio and the visuals. Okay, piece of wood on the ground. I don't know why this is here. I wonder if, I'm holding the microphone right now, but maybe, okay, that wasn't really in the shot. I'm just gonna keep like kicking this until I'm confident with, okay, maybe that's fine. Let's go with one more. I want more of like a, okay, I'm kind of doubting the sufficiency of that, but that's fine. Okay, so as you can see over here, we have, please hold, and pardon the strong winds, we have my scooter and my backpack, camera bag, everything, and then a tripod. However, you'll notice that with the tripod, I seem to have forgotten a crucial piece, and that's the thing that attaches the camera to the tripod. Of course, I decided that's no problem. I can simply place the camera on top of the tripod, and with the power of balancing, everything should be fine. However, things were not fine, as you can probably hear, even despite my audio editing after recording, which will inevitably take place. The wind's pretty strong. Let's see. I'd prefer to have the camera facing me because there isn't really anything I'm recording here. I can record the clouds, I guess. But I doubt the camera is going to be showing anything remotely as interesting as I'm seeing right now. In the end, you might have better luck just looking outside. Ooh, very pretty hills that you probably can't see very well. Gosh, the wind is so strong. I searched around for quite a while to see if there's something I could stand behind, but it seems the wind direction wants to change every 5 to 10 seconds. So that's not working particularly well. I still feel like you should be seeing my face, though. Let's see if I can get something figured out. I'm hearing this in this canopy thing, and you may be thinking, wow, it's so cool that Daniel lives close to a place that has a place where people can like sit down and walk and be an actual human being without an automobile. Well, the only reason this is here is because there's a church building right there. This is basically the only place I'm allowed to use my legs in all of Utah. Everywhere else, you have to be a car. Let's see if I can. Okay, audio's gonna get pretty ugly here as I drop the microphone, and well, I guess I'm dropping the camera instead. Let's see. So we have that pointed there. It's probably going to be way too close to my face. I gotta rotate the screen. Okay, let's see how that looks. No, that is not going to function in the way that I would enjoy or appreciate in any way. I could bring it over here, place it there. How about this? See, I'm still too tall, but if I lean over like this. Hello, everybody. My name is Markiplier, and welcome to episode 1 of Five Nights at Freddy's. Today we're going to, I don't know, I forgot that, okay, I probably already got the words wrong there. Have you ever heard of Septagon? Or I suppose a heptagon? Either name works. It's a shape, okay? But it's a really cool shape. I'm going to back that up. Let's see. Maybe this works. Perhaps. My eyesight's bad. I'm getting new glasses in about a week, probably. It's been years, so I can't even see the screen. But that blob looks vaguely human-shaped. So I'm going to say it works out. I call them septagons, which is kind of correct. Heptagon is kind of the more correct term, because I'm pretty sure with heptagon, when you take the roots in the word, both parts of the word come from the same origin, while septagon mixes them, or something like that. I can't quite remember, Greek and Latin roots and all that. Anyway, a lot of you probably know what a septagon or heptagon is just from hearing the word. A shape with 7 sides. Right now I'm talking about regular heptagons, just like how you can have a regular pentagon and all that. But here's the thing. Even though most of you probably know what that is, how many of you have actually seen one? It's possible that you have, maybe once or twice, maybe even coincidentally happened to look that up yourself. But have you ever seen one when you weren't actively looking for it? And outside of a classroom or whatever? Have you ever walked around and seen a certain piece of architecture? That's a hard word to say. You know what I'm trying to say. Have you ever seen a structure or any piece of decoration that included a septagon anywhere? I haven't. But here's the thing. I started thinking about this when I was noticing how many squares and rectangles there are across everything and everywhere. Your tables are rectangles, your chairs are rectangles, just parking lots are rectangles, things fit in rectangle boxes, and just rectangles everywhere. And then perhaps if you're particularly lucky, you can look elsewhere and see some triangles as well. Triangles are fairly common as well. But in the end, that's kind of everything. That kind of sums up everything. Now, pentagons are pretty cool. And you sometimes see those. Like I've seen them in logos and stuff. Pentagons look pretty cool. Like the simple ones, if you just look up what a pentagon looks like right now. Very cool. I might edit one in on the screen somewhere in post. I'm not sure. I'm sorry, it just got very sunny all of a sudden. It looks very pretty over there, and I kind of want to be recording over there, but I can't. I will attempt to ignore it. All right. Here's the thing. When it comes to audio, and those of you who know me know that I'm an audio guy. I make audio software, and I just like audio stuff in general. I've kind of built my life around that sense, the sense of hearing, because I feel like we have visual art, paintings and sculptures and so on. That's definitely the most common one. Then you have taste as an art, like food. Chefs are fairly common. Everybody knows what a chef is. People can invent recipes all the time. It's a fairly common activity. When it comes to smells, that's a less common one, but people are aware of the possibilities of smell, and there are people who kind of put together aromas into their, I don't know the words to use here, but I'm referring to. And then as for feeling, that's just kind of in everything, how the clothes we wear feel and all that, so on and so on. I'm just kind of thinking of how that can be incorporated into an intentionally artistic thing. Anyway, hearing. People know music exists, but especially the audience that would most likely be watching this video. As you know, popular music isn't exactly as how can I word this without having everybody click off of the video? And it's not as focused on artistry as I personally feel like it should be. And even when you go down and let me clarify, this isn't an instance of music supremacy. Even when you go down to the areas where people are being more experimental with their music or so on, or experimental, it does kind of deserves the quotation marks there. Even then, I feel like people are more focused on, well, I mean, everybody kind of has their own focus with the music that they're making, but so few of them are actually really focused on the art of it. That there's usually some other thing they're focused on, like how weird can I make this, or how can I make as many people enjoy this as possible, and so on and so on. I've suddenly forgotten what the point of this was. Oh yeah, I'm an audio guy. I want so many people, and see, this is what I was trying to convey. It cannot be denied that the large majority of the entire human species is woefully ignorant when it comes to what the actual possibilities of audio are. When it comes to just blatantly unexplored territory, I feel like that is the best place to look, or at least my favorite place to look. In the end, these are all opinions. But when it comes to audio, so much of it is dependent on harmonics, on ratios. You get an octave by having a 2-to-1 frequency ratio. Like if you have one waveform that repeats at 200 times per second, another that repeats at 400 times per second, 400 to 200, that's a 2-to-1 ratio. That's an octave. If you have 300 to 200, that's the 3-to-2 ratio. That's a perfect fifth. So that's the third harmonic. I guess the third harmonic would be a 3-to-1, but octave adjusted, and anyway, I'm getting off track here. These things really revolve around harmonics, and this video could turn into a whole rant about 12-tone equal temperament and how and just intonation and so on and so on, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. It's been proven time and time again that these harmonics are what is important in music. It's what gives things their flavor, I suppose. I'm really kind of rushing through this. I could explain it a lot better, I'm sure, if it's more formulated. I never use scripts or anything, but I guess what I'm trying to lead up to is I feel like this idea of ratios being the fundamental building block for just hearing in general. I don't think it only applies to hearing. When it comes to sight, if we just talk about shapes, if you have a simple shape like a triangle or a rectangle or square or so on, the human brain seems to really enjoy splitting those up into smaller pieces. So like if you see a hexagon, it's a very easy shape for the mind to parse because it's a very easy shape for the mind to parse because our mind can kind of split it up into 2 pieces or 3 pieces, and there's a lot of symmetry in there. And if you were to correlate that with harmonics, a hexagon would involve both the third and the second harmonic. That's kind of how that shape would be synthesized, I suppose. When it comes to something like a pentagon, that's your 5th harmonic, I suppose. And 5's a prime number. It can't really be split into anything smaller. So we kind of see that as its own. I don't know what word to use. I can say flavor, I can say timbre, but no matter what word I use, it isn't going to be accurate. Nobody's really created a word for what I'm talking about here. But a pentagon is kind of its own thing. Your brain can't easily split that into individual parts to make it easier to process. It just processes it as, hey, this is a pentagon. So it makes pentagons pleasing in a different way that a square or a triangle would be. Now, when it comes to septagons, that's another shape that can't be divided into smaller pieces so easily. Smaller, simple shapes. I mean, it's because 7's a prime number. The shape has 7 sides, so in a way, the kind of the beauty of a septagon is kind of unique to itself, and it's possible that a lot of people, they've already looked up a picture of a septagon, or actually I'll probably just edit one into the video in this general area. It's possible that some people notice that looks a bit odd at first. And I can kind of draw an analogy between this and music, but I won't, because you'll probably be able to figure it out for yourself, potentially. But it kind of looks odd because we aren't quite used to it, and our mind, or at least what a lot of people reported to me when I first showed them a septagon, was that their mind kept trying to like move corners or like try to trick them into thinking one side was symmetrical with another when it isn't. And so on and so on. It keeps trying to turn it into something simpler that it can work with, because it's never really seen the equivalent of the 7th harmonic for shapes. And I think that's very cool. I've been looking at septagons a lot since then, and studying them, and I got used to it pretty quickly. It's not like some mind-blowing instance of physicality that my brain can't handle. It's just a shape in the end. So yeah, I got used to it pretty quickly, and I was able to look at that and say, hey, that is a septagon, instead of my mind trying to turn it into some combination of triangles or squares or what have you. And I think septagons are cool. But in the end, as we know with harmonics and music, the higher those harmonics go, the more dissonant they are. Or the more discordant they are. That's the pattern that it's essentially been proven. We see it very consistently. So a septagon would be more discordant, I suppose, than a pentagon. Once you keep adding more and more sides, when it gets to 11, 13, so on, so on, so on, it gets difficult to tell what shape you're looking at without counting the sides. And eventually it gets to the point where you look at it and you're like, that's just a circle. Once you have a lot of sides there. But a septagon, that's only 7. 7 isn't that high. It's still a very consonant or concordant shape. It's still perfectly appreciable. Appreciable isn't a word. It is perfectly worthy of appreciation. It's a shape with inherent beauty. It's just like a pentagon or so on. But it's kind of its own thing. What I'm kind of getting at is our little Septagon Supremacy squad here. I'm not saying septagons are the best shape. I'm not saying septagons are supreme over other shapes. I'm saying a culture that would recognize the existence of septagons and incorporate them into their culture would be superior to ones that simply ignore their existence, or rather don't even realize they exist in the first place. And I suppose that's what this video is about. I want people to know that septagons exist, and a lot of people are probably thinking, Daniel, why? And yes, Daniel's my real name. Why? It's because I like it, and I think other people like it. And I know that I'm personally not a visual artist yet. I'd really like to get into that, but I'm really, really struggling. It's my number one weak point out of everything. Horrible visual artist, mostly because I just can't work out the software. In the end, I'm probably going to end up programming my own software for it. But I know many of the people watching this are probably visual artists, or they want to be, or they aren't designated visual artists. I mean, I'm against categorization in general, so you don't have to be a visual artist, but people who make visual art at some point, or logos or whatever it may be, who maybe in the future will be like, hey, you know what would really work here? A septagon. You could use it in many of the same places you'd use a pentagon. It's a perfectly usable shape. In the end, it doesn't tessellate, so that is one issue. It does cause septagons to work best generally as a standalone shape, or at least I think that's the direction people generally take things in. But I mean, I'd encourage not doing that. Using multiple of them close together and seeing how that can look neat, that's fine. But in the end, I'm sure there are many circumstances in which people's art would be enhanced by septagons, but they never even consider the possibility of using one because nobody really recognizes the fact that they exist. But I feel like I think of everything in ratios. Maybe it's an autism thing, I don't know, but I always do. I'm obsessed with ratios. Not in some stupid pseudoscience sort of way. I'm talking in like an actual objective way. And I'm not saying looking at a septagon will open your third eye. I'm not stupid. I'm saying that, you know, just kind of logically, you look at it, it's you can't divide that into other simpler shapes like you would with any other. I'll explain all this. Why am I talking about this? I think a lot of you would enjoy using septagons, or just looking at them, or whatever it may be. Maybe some of you build houses or do woodworking or something. I mean, I guess that was more of a common thing a couple hundred years ago than nowadays. Nowadays, I don't even know what people do. That is a bit odd. But yeah, septagons. Realize they exist. I suppose that's all I have to say here. Now, a couple questions I can see popping up here that I'd like to address right now. One would probably be, Daniel, what about nonagons? Nine-sided shape. Well, that is, your mind kind of just naturally divides that into three pieces. It's three groups of three. Nonagons are a fantastic shape, but in the end, your brain is going to divide it into that. It's like the ninth harmonic, the third harmonic on top of the third harmonic. It's not exactly a foreign shape, even though it's very likely that none of you have ever even seen one before. It wouldn't really seem foreign. I'm not saying it's a bad shape. It's a fantastic shape, and people need to use it more. People do need to use it more. But that's not quite the point I'm trying to hammer home here. Anyway, second question I can anticipate. Daniel, what about undecagons? I don't know how to pronounce that. Undecagon? Undecagon? Undecagon. An 11-sided shape. Yes. Please use them. That's cool. The 11th harmonic. 11 is a prime number. that's also its own thing. It's more discordant or dissonant or whatever word you want to use than a septagon, and it it's 4 numbers up. It's quite far away. It's perfectly viable as a shape, and I feel like people need to use that as well. It's just when it comes to introducing people to new shapes, I suppose. Septagon would be the easiest step. It's very consonant, very concordant, whatever word you want to use. Very, very much so. But nobody's using it. There's a lot of lost potential there. So that's why I'm bringing it up. So that's kind of the point of our little Septagon Supremacy squad. It's not really supremacy about septagons. It's supremacy of a world with people that know about septagons and acknowledge their existence and, best case scenario, actually use them. I suppose that's all I have to say here. Wonder how long I've been recording for. And I really hope I was in the frame. I really couldn't see the screen for that whole time. I hope I haven't been moving the microphone away from my mouth too much. Let's see, 26 minutes. A lot shorter than I thought it would be. I tend to ramble a lot, and I actually did a lot of rambling in this video, but I suppose it's a fairly simple topic. For my last video, or the podcast I never actually uploaded to YouTube that a few of you may have actually happened to come across, as you already know, I'm awful with outros, so I'm just going to close up shop. I think now I'm paranoid that I'm forgetting something. Gosh, there's a lot of trash on the ground out here. Ew. So corporate. The cup. It says no more wallet shuffling. Link your card. Earn points. Redeem. That stuff kind of bothers me. I mean, just the fact that everything's kind of an advertisement. And the contrast between that and, that's just lying in the middle of the grass. I just want to see the grass and the trees and the bushes and, just nature, things that haven't really been covered with that stuff. I see a Capri Sun on a table over there, and Kirkland water bottle on the ground there. Starburst. Almond Joy. And that's with people cleaning this area every week. The wind just blows it into here because there's so much of it. I call them American tumbleweeds. Okay, now that we've thoroughly moved out of scope of the video and completely ruined what approximate outro I almost had. Oh, those clouds are cool. They're moving pretty fast. Sorry. Bye. Gosh, I can't end a video. Audio button here. Well, I feel like I should stop the video portion first, maybe. Maybe another opportunity to sync the audio. Gosh, my hands are frozen though because the wind's been blowing. Can it see? Oh wait, but it's not getting the. It needs to be. Maybe. Does that work? Let's hope. Everybody, have a fantastic day. Make cool art. Look for cool art. Serve those around you. Various unrelated inspirational messages that don't actually really have a place in this video, even though they are kind of particularly important and people really should kind of follow along with them, regardless of the fact that that isn't even really why they clicked on the wow, those hills are cool. Sorry, bye button. That one, I think it's, yes, that button. I'm pressing it. Okay, now the video's ended, and now I need to end the audio. Let's see, there is a wind filter thing that is covering but that is the button. I will now press it. Goodbye.